Okay, welcome, moms. It's nice to have you back. It's nice to be together again on a Friday. We're back in now. I think maybe we might actually be approaching fall where we live. I know you guys are probably enjoying some pleasant weather. We're just beginning to cool off here. So we're crossing our fingers that we have keep having nice days. But it's nice to see you here. We are going to have some conversations today about what we've been learning, what we've been reading or trying or listening to or looking at, or what experiences we've been having lately that have been some growth experiences for us. So if you have some things that are on your mind that you want to share, let's start there. With anybody and any experiences. Sarah.
Yeah, so I was just turning off my super loud dishwasher and serving up my little toddler another helping of snacks. So I'm unmuted now. So I don't know if everybody is on the Marco Polo group, but we had kind of a lull this week, and it was like we went from I had a it was like every time I checked the Marco Polo before, it was like, you missed 50 messages or 75 messages. And it was so crazy and hard to keep up. And then it was like radio silence, just like this natural thing after last Friday, like it's like nothing needed to be said. And so I had more thinking time, and it was really nice to have some time to just reconnect with myself. And I realized that I was just kind of going for things and filling my time with things and doing things without a clear focus. And so I put together I worked on my lifetime bucket list and like my focus list, and I just wanted to share like how useful that has been. Like I deleted a couple social media apps off my phone because I realized, like, hang on a second, these aren't serving me. Like, this isn't doing anything for my long-term goals, like my long-term happiness, like literally nothing. I'm just on here to respond to random people's questions and like socialize with strangers on the internet. And yeah, so anyway, that's just been glorious to have a clear focus. And I just wanted to comment on that. So if you feel like you're running around in circles, that might be a fun activity for you to do. It took me a few days to like get all my thoughts put together and on paper, and I'm still kind of working on it, but that's been a real blessing to me. So
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's really good. That's really good, Cassie. Cassie added she loves that. She made a list called Things That Feed My Soul. That is great. I love it. And I think as we talk and get together and meet, and have our conversations, we have these ebbs and flows. There are a lot of information and then some time to ponder, and then a lot of information and then some time to ponder. And I've kind of noticed that pattern. It's nice. I think that's probably a good pattern to have. Any other thoughts? Any other people want to share growth experiences? Things you're learning about, things you're experiencing, something you've read. We're comfortable with. Oh, Laura.
Yeah, I just have a thought if I can talk over the screen, baby. But
Yeah.
we're home from our big trip that we went on, and it was amazing to me how easy it was to learn while we were on the road or out doing stuff, out in nature. All the things, it just came naturally. The conversations and the learning and the questions, the what if and I wonder, and it was just really fun to see that. And then now we're home trying to get back into the routine, and it's more forced. So I loved how amazing it was to do that out in nature. Okay, I'll mute now because he's getting
But how interesting that it was easier for you when you were out in nature than it is, when you're back with all the routines and the things of the stuff of home, right? I mean, just the busyness that can happen. But how just being out away from those things gave you that very natural learning experience. That's really cool. And I loved seeing the pictures that your daughter would put on Instagram of your travels and everything. So that would be fun to share, maybe on the Teach Our Own Hearts group or something, to share some of those pictures and experiences when you have, like a spare minute or something. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but we would love being able to see that. Okay, anybody else? Just normal stuff that's going. Oh, I should say this. I'm not looking for some amazing, like, I'll just use this for lack of a better term, like an Instagram worthy experience. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about normal, everyday, little small things. The small and simple things that we are noticing really make a difference. I don't want anybody to feel like, well, my story's not good enough to share, or it's not a big enough deal, or it's just a simple little thought. Great. Great. We want to hear about those. We want to hear those experiences and those stories. Oh, Ida is back home. I'm so excited. She's still connecting, but I'm so excited that Ida, you're back and you've got your girls and you're in transition mode, I'm going to guess. How are you doing?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
We're fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, I'm kind of reading something in that.
Yeah, it's just transition. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy.
And you've got, kind of an exponential factor there for your transition. So
Yeah, it's like we have so much more noise now. I'm like,
really,
oh my gosh, there's so much noise.
really. So adding
Yeah.
3 teenagers to your young family really
Turns out.
amplified. Is it just the number of bodies? So for those of you who don't know, Ida, you want to give a little summary of where you are right now?
Sure. So we just got back from Bulgaria on the 11th of September, and we brought home 3 girls that we adopted, ages 13, 16, and 17. And we have 6 kids of our own, our biological children. And so now we have 9. My oldest biological child is 13, and my youngest is 2. So it's kind of a little bit crazy. We had 2 weeks in Bulgaria, and then now we're just trying to like figure out our routine and like figure out how everybody, like, it's like throwing all the puzzle pieces in the air and trying to figure out how they fit together again, and it's a different puzzle than it was before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been really, it's stressful, but it's also been like, we've been super blessed, just like in so many ways. Like I feel like I'm sure you like heard this analogy before, but it's like Heavenly Father sometimes brings you to the edge of the water and you get your toes wet before he parts it, right? Like you get your feet wet before he decides to part the Red Sea, and that's, I think, partly so that that God's hand is involved, right? That these are miracles happening.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier for you to recognize them. And also, I was talking to my sister yesterday. She's doing that emotional self-reliance class. She started doing that, and she was telling me, like, just because things are right doesn't mean they're easy. In fact, it probably means that they're right if they aren't easy. Not that you should go seek hard things to do, but
Right.
like, if it was always easy when you did the right thing, it wouldn't require any faith, and it wouldn't allow us to grow and progress. So like those hard things that we have to do, they help us to grow. So anyways, we're growing a lot right now. We're in the growth zone. It's great.
Well, welcome home. We're really excited for you. We've, kind of been following along and we feel like we're part of this journey with you. So it's really fun to hear about
You
how
have
things
been.
are
You
going.
have been. And I took that card that you guys sent with me, and it was so nice just to have that, like, it's a little reminder when I was having moments. I'm like, I'm just gonna go read my card.
Oh,
So it was
well,
actually
thanks.
really sweet, and it's been, I've missed being able to connect with everybody. So I'm so happy to be here too.
Good. Well, thanks. Thanks. It's good to see your face. We missed you too. So, what about these connections? Have you found yourself thinking about the connection, the friendships you have here? Have you talked to anybody about the friendships you've made, or the impact it has made on your life having these women in your life? Has that been something any of you have thought about or talked about? It just keeps coming up for me. Emily.
Oh, there we go. Nope, I'm gone. I'm there. Okay. I've been reading in the Mothers of Influence book, and I don't actually have the physical book. Yeah, but that's the one. I have it in PDF. And I read the story, The Line of Golden Light, or The Little Blind Sister. And what stood out to me was, so the story, if you haven't read it, is this little girl has a sister who's blind, and she wants her to be cured so that she can see. And so she hears about this lady. She goes to this cave, kind of like a witch lady, I think. Anyways, and basically what she's tasked to do is to take this piece of thread that this woman is spinning and travel around the world and come back. And then she will help her with her blind sister. So she goes, and through the story, what I stood out to me this time when I read it was how many times this girl, as she travels, has difficulty. There's big boulders, she has to go over a mountain, there's a swamp, there's all these things, and how she looks around her. And at one point, I think it was eagles who came, and she looked at them and she just thought, oh, I can, anyway, just how it encouraged her to continue. And then when she would look behind her, everywhere that thread was, it turned to a path, a dry place through the wet, stairs through the steep, stuff like that. And I just thought how we need people so much in our journeys that are hard. And then because of our journey and our struggle through, we create a path for someone else to follow behind us. That's what stood out in that story for me.
Yeah, I love that. There's so many great messages in these stories, videos, quotes, things. Ida.
I was just reading that story this week too, Emily, and I loved it. And I was thinking too about like how she made this path, as she went. And that was, I didn't actually finish it, but I was reading those parts and just noticing that more. And I love, okay, I am like one of those people, like I watch a movie once or I read a book once, I'm done. There's too many to read. I never go back. But I've had to change that because lately I've realized how much you get. Like you read the scriptures more than once, right? You don't just read them one time and okay, we're good, and things that are inspired and good, every time you read them, you get something new, right? So I was like, I've had to like, it's going to be okay if I do this again. I'm going to learn something new. Sorry. Anyways, I love that thought. And I was reading or studying earlier, and I written this down, and I think it was from President Nelson's talk about faith to move mountains. And he said that in there, or maybe it was just a thought I had, but like, you've been given this mountain to show others that it can be moved. And I think that that's a really powerful thing. Like sometimes we're given a mission or a calling in our lives so that we can show other people that this can be done. Like we can teach our children and we can soften their hearts. We can approach it in a different way. We can throw out, the model and start over it following inspiration that we've received, and it'll be okay. But I love that too. Like she's providing this path so other people know that it can be done. You know, like it kind of related to me a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my power quote. That's one day when I was extremely overwhelmed and feeling like, okay, Heavenly Father, I really don't know how much longer I can do this. And I was directed to search. He gave me a search term, which I don't remember right now, but and I searched online and I came up with that picture, mountain, and that phrase on top of it, you've been given this mountain to show others it can be moved. So it kind of has changed my approach, my response, I guess, my outlook. It's pretty powerful. Don't you love that you are really truly are in his hands? Sometimes we're not so sure because the ride seems so bumpy. We just think, really? I'm not so sure. But then we have experiences where we know we're in his hands. Yeah, Daisy.
Oh, I was just going to share kind of a personal experience kind of along those lines. So my grandmother, I'm named after my grandmother. Not Daisy, but her nickname when she was a child was Daisy. So that's why they named me this. But she climbed so many mountains in her life. And I remember one story vividly that I was told her husband, my grandpa, he had heart issues since he was 30 years old. And so she had to be the breadwinner of the family and stuff. But anyways, they needed their house reshingled and they couldn't afford to hire people to do it. So my grandma tied a rope around her waist, tied the rope to the chimney, and went and shingled her own roof. But that's a real physical example of someone like, I can't imagine doing that, but she did it. She reshingled her whole roof. But we really do, and like climb these mountains so other people can see that they can be done. And my grandmother just inspires me every day. When I think about my name, I think about her and all the things in her life she had to overcome. And yeah, so I think that's really true principle.
And it doesn't have to be any big, huge things. It can just be something that somebody else is able to handle a little bit better maybe than you, and it can help you see, oh, that's kind of how you do it. Oh, I see. You can do this first and then that, and you use this heavenly tool or blessing or something, and oh, okay. I love that. And that, really, truly, that's one of the reasons we need each other, right? So we can see. Not for the competition, that part of womanhood and women's relationships was never supposed to be. That's a problem. That's something that got added in recent times that we don't need. We definitely don't need that. That made me think that the legacy of showing that mountains can be moved lives on for others to be inspired as well. Yeah, you're exactly, Ida. Yeah, it's not easy to remember all the stuff, but again, we have others so that somebody else's story can remind us and we say, oh yeah, I remember, I heard about that, or I felt this thing, or oh, that would really help me here, right? And if we don't get close with each other, we don't have those opportunities. Okay, Laura, are you in a moment where you can share? I think you popped on to share.
Yes, I was just gonna say that I love that story. It just made me think. I have been so overwhelmed lately with how much I appreciate the women of this group and how nice it is to have like-minded women with the same goals trying to accomplish something. And even though we're spread across the United States, it's so nice to have the support. And then I have also the last few weeks had like 4 opportunities to share Well-Educated Heart with like serious moms who are looking for something for their family. And so that was a neat story of how we, you lead the trail, leave the path or whatever. But so I really like that.
I love it. Thank you. And that's exciting. And it's funny how once you start sharing it, opportunities happen. every time I go somewhere. So yesterday I'm at the blood drive and I meet Kimmy, who's here. Cute little Kimmy. Did you see her? Lovely in the hat and everything, all stylish. I like it. And we just chat for a minute, and one of the dead giveaways is she's got children, right? And so I can always kind of find out what are they doing school wise. She has children and they're at home, and it's the middle of the day, so you kind of have that intro. But like I've said, I've gone out and struck up a conversation with a retired grandma, or with a young 20-year-old young lady, and I invited a couple of them to a tea party. Did I tell you that? Did we talk about that? Okay, so last Sunday was state conference, and my son was speaking in state conference, and then another young women in our stake, he's getting ready to go on a mission, but she was a couple years younger than him. They know each other. In fact, the last time my son spoke in state conference, she was his speaking companion. So the two of them, thought that was funny. They were up on the stand again doing that. But as she was speaking, I thought, because she kind of was talking about, I'm not really sure what I'm doing right now, if I'm supposed to go on a mission or I'm going to go to college or I'm going to do something else. I just don't know. I have so many things open still, or, I'm just not sure what next. And, it just struck me that, okay, you need to talk to her. She's one of the ones you need to talk to. And then Lindsay told me later that she had that same thought. Oh, Lori needs to talk to Kira, that she needs to be one of the ones that Lori talks to. Anyway, and then another young woman that I saw that day, actually they had asked her to give one of the prayers. And so both of them, I approached them after state conference and I said, I have no idea if this is just going to seem weird to you or what, but I have this idea, this thing that I want to do. And I want to meet with some of the young adults. And I'm thinking maybe just once a month, I invite young adults to my home and we kind of have like a little tea party. I mean, I felt like I should use that word, and I was thinking, what are they going to think when I say that? And they both kind of shyly responded, like in a positive way. And I think it was genuinely positive, I don't know. But, and I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. We're going to talk about art or music, or I'm going to share a story, and I don't know. We're going to start this and we're going to see where it goes. So I'm being prayerful about it, but I'm excited about it. So it's like we've got both ends of the spectrum and everything in between. So if you feel inspired to share your positive thoughts, anything that would create a connection with another woman, if you feel inspired to do it, do it. You don't know what it is that Heavenly Father is trying to do. We ended up with this, and this is incredible. This group of friends has got us through a whole lot of things. Okay, Ida, I've been talking too much. Ida, what did you say over there? Go ahead and share.
I'm not very good at typing, but I just feel like this group makes the world feel like it's a smaller place. Like it doesn't matter where we are, that there are people all around us, really. And I remember there's people everywhere. There's somebody that's good and kind wherever we go that's willing and wanting to help us, right? Yeah. And there's I don't know, even in Bulgaria, just feeling like the support of your kindness and encouragement was so cool. And replaying that in my mind, okay, there's people praying for me, and like you ladies especially, but like lots of people too that were, and I don't know, just like Heavenly Father putting people in the right place at the right time too. There was this organization that gave us a grant for our adoption, and they're called CNF, Children Needs Families, and they're connected with OUR, Operation Underground Railroad, and started by the same people. Anyways, so they were wanted to do like a video when we came home with the kids. And I was stressing about that a little bit, thinking, I don't know how this is going to go. Anyways, I ended up calling her the night before we left Bulgaria, and she's talking to me a little bit, and she's like, so how are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm good. I'm a little crazy right now, but I'm good. And she's like, well, tell me a little bit about your story. I don't have your paper in front of me. So I was talking to her and telling her, like, all these things, like why we were adopting and whatever, And she's like telling me, listening, and then she says, are you LDS? And I was like, yes, I am. Which was, like, she didn't want to be like, they help lots of people, right? So no big deal. But she happened to be LDS too, and she's like, I can talk to you like from that perspective. And so she was like, you got your yes. You said, like, you got your yes, and everything after that, you just have to hold on to the yes and remember that. And she was really so sweet and encouraging, and it was just what I needed to hear. And like, here she is, this woman who has 9 kids as well, and 7 of them were adopted as teenagers. And I was like, thank you. Like, this was a miracle that I talked to you and that you were just the right person that I needed to talk to right now. And Heavenly Father puts those people in our path. And I feel so blessed too, like all of you, but like also just like recognizing the power of women to help each other and uplift each other wherever we are, and that we can rely on that, like there are so many good, kind women around us. And like, I feel like this need to like reach out and just gather more, like you're a mom too, you're a woman, you have these wonderful, amazing things to offer. Anyways, and so I kept having moments like that, and I have had them throughout this process, and like with you ladies. And last night I was talking to my sister, and she was talking about some hard things that she'd been through, and she's like, as she's taking this emotional resilience class, and they talked about like being able to talk to people about it, and I was like, yeah, it's like that. There's this TED talk, and in this TED talk, he talks about the power of story and telling your story, and like being able to talk about what you learn from it and what other people learn from it. And I was telling her, and she was like, it's really hard for me because I don't feel like I have anybody that I can talk to. Like, I don't have any friends that are close by. And I was like, you need to join my Mothers of Influence group. and just so you can feel like even though I've never met many of you, like I've met Lindsay, but like I can talk and tell you things, and I feel like you aren't judging, and you're supporting, and you're like, and that's so amazing. Like, I'm sorry, like this makes me, I feel like I'm rambling, but anyways, so I just love that, and like how much this group has inspired me to try to reach out to other women too, and like not only reach out to them, but ask them for help, like to lean on other women and allow them to lean on me at different times, like there's this in the Mothers of Influence, or the introductory course, there's a part where she talks about, I think it's when they're talking about the birth of the women's movement, and she talks about how, we could be all logs floating down this river by ourselves, or we could put all these logs together in a ship and imagine the power and how much better that is, right? If we're working together. So that makes me, that's what this group is doing for me. Like so many
Yeah.
things. I'm
No,
rambling.
and I mean, and I loved that too, and it's like, how much more easily can we maneuver if we're all put together in a ship than these loose logs tumbling around down the river?
Get
That
to
is
where we're
such a
going
great picture.
safely, dry, and be able to bring others with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Yeah, we do love hearing your perspective. No rambling. Melissa.
So, yeah, just the connection. We learned about Bulgaria a month or two ago because we're in Europe this year. And I reached out to Ida and I was like, Ida, I know nothing about Bulgaria. You've been there. You're learning lots about it. What can you tell me about Bulgaria? And she told me some fun things that we were able to do in our family, and some recipes and things that she had eaten there, and got way more than I would have just, Googling from her experience on Bulgaria. And and then we were able to make some other connections where I have a neighbor down the street that taught us about Turkey because they served their mission in Turkey. But when Turkey was having diplomatic issues, they were assigned in Bulgaria. And they had to fly into Turkey once a week to finish their mission.
And so I've been able to reach out to them and make some connections. Hopefully that will help Ida with sister missionaries that might be able to talk with her girls and keep, help with English learning or just connecting with someone that speaks Bulgarian and English that might be a positive influence or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't reached out to Ida about asking about Bulgaria, if I didn't know that she knew about Bulgaria, none of those connections could have been made. And so through that sharing, all sorts of stuff was able to happen.
I love it. I love it. I love watching it. And I love seeing the back and forth with everybody, and even the Marco Polo and with its ebbs and flows. A little nutty, but Amanda, it's nice to have you on screen. Thanks for joining us. Hello. Do you want to come on and say hi for a minute?
Sure. I am Amanda. And I have been able to kind of watch and listen to you ladies talk, like previous postings like on YouTube, and it's always been so uplifting to listen to the things that you have to say. And so I don't know, it's something that fills my heart. So yeah, sorry, I got all emotional. And I only ugly cry, so just so you know. Yeah.
I'm great at it, by the way.
But yeah, it's been really good. And you all have been talking about the like making connections, and it is so important. And that's part of the reason why I reached out to Lori, actually, because I was like, I need to find a way to make a connection here and figure this out. And so anyways, it's been really good. But yeah, I'm homeschooling my kids. We started this year, and it's been a lot of fun, but I have loved the addition that the well-educated heart is helping me and adding for me, and then I can share that with my kids. So yeah, but that's pretty much me.
Oh, it's wonderful. Are you comfortable saying where you're from?
Oh yeah, sorry, all my kids came in.
Oh, it's fine. But they do.
They do. They're
If we're
excited
talking,
about it.
then they want to be there.
We live in Wyoming. We live close to, it's a small town called Big Piney. It's by like Pinedale and Jackson Hole. So
Oh,
that's where we live.
nice. Oh, how nice. That's wonderful. Well, I think that's really interesting that you were able to just be watching the videos and start feeling a connection, so much so that you wanted to actually, come on a Friday. And I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you reached out and were able, because you came one day just for a little short, right? And you had to pop off.
I did, and like this signal was weird, and yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I've gone back and I've listened to previous, get-togethers that you've had. So yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I don't know how it is that we missed out on this beautiful fact that connecting with other women is vital, that we need it, and that it makes our lives exponentially richer. And I didn't really realize that. And now, now I know, and I'm reaping the benefits of that. And Kimmy, when I talked to Kimmy yesterday, she was just so excited at this idea of being able to have other people that also, I don't remember exactly what you said, Kimmy, but do you want to pop on just for a second and just share anything?
Yeah, sure. So, so like this is my first year. My oldest is in kindergarten, and my journey of finding homeschool has been kind of like, you need more. Long and confused and not sure what to do. And so Lindsay is in my ward, and she and I had like run in a few circles a few times, but I had no idea that she homeschooled. We didn't really know each other that well. And one Sunday after church, our kids were just playing outside, and she had mentioned something like, oh, I do homeschool, so I don't have time for something. I can't remember what it was. Sure. And and it was just like, oh, you homeschool? And she literally talked to me for like an hour and answered all of my questions. And it was like such a matter of prayer to me that I didn't even know that like, and like, it was just because like I never would have asked her because I didn't even know she homeschooled. And like the Lord led me to like ask her, and she seriously, or just talk to her about it. And she answered all my questions, and she's been such like a mentor for me as far as like getting me connected to different things and figuring out what I want to do. And then yesterday, randomly, my husband is the facilities manager for the church buildings in our area. Okay, just a minute. And so he was like, oh, he had to take his car to the shop. So we were down to one car, and I just picked up my daughter from Outsiders, which is this program here in Bakersfield. And he was like, I have to swing by the church to turn off the air conditioning. We're just going to do that really fast. I was like, okay. So we show up, and then Lori walks out, and we just start chatting. And then she's like, oh, I run this group. And I was like, no way. Like, I need all the help I can get. Like, I need resources, and I need just like people that to talk to that understand. Because people, when I talk to them and say that I'm homeschooling, they're like, oh, because this year's crazy and it's only kindergarten, so you'll send them next year. And I'm like, no, like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is what we've chosen to do. It's not because everything's crazy, although that helps, but like, this is what we're doing. And so it's nice to have people that like, I don't know, get it and like want to do what I'm doing. And we're all kind of on the same page. So I was just super excited. And I just was like, God is leading me to all the right people. And I was so excited. So,
That is
thank you.
what he does. And it's awesome. I love seeing that happen. Cadence, how are you? Good to see you. Come on and
Good.
share.
I missed last week.
We missed you.
Thanks.
So what's up in Washington?
Oh, well, I guess I can update you on Zephyr's first week of school.
Yeah.
So, that's been fun. It was more fun the first week. Now she's kind of get out of the sink. Now she's kind of tired of it, especially riding the bus, but it's okay. But she's realizing, oh, it's so much nicer to be at home. And she's like, they do the same thing every day. And she's like, she was so exhausted every day after school, just like, ugh. Anyway, but they're having fun too. At recess, she brings something to share with the other kids. Oh, that's right. I was like, why is your name so familiar? Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
know. How many people are there named Cadence with a daughter named Zephyr? I was like, I
Yeah.
know you.
What?
That's so funny. Okay,
Oh
anyways.
man, that's been a long time. I'm trying to remember
That's crazy.
names, but yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. Anyway, so Zephyr is, she brings stuff to recess. She's been bringing origami. She's been bringing these little Chinese dragon things, and she shares them with all the kids, and she helps the kids who don't have friends. She's been having them be her little helpers and pass out things. And she babysits the baby dragons. So she's like bringing what we're doing at home to school. Yes, exactly. And so, and yeah, and she hasn't really hit anything hard yet. Like, no, yeah, she's a little mother. Yes. She hasn't hit any hard homework yet. So we're still kind of in the school is fun, and which is good. I'm happy about that. We've just been doing stuff at home when she's here because we still have time. Like the stuff we
Good.
do fits in with just life. And yeah, I'm doing really well personally.
That was my next question. I'm just waiting for a pause. So how
Yeah.
are you doing? Are you
I was
doing okay?
It's good. Like it's been mostly calm. And I was just really, when she first told me that she wanted to be homeschooled again, she told me that after the first week, I was just like, yes, she's getting it that I actually, like I do all this stuff. And she was appreciating our life at home, which was one of the blessings that was promised me that I would get after doing this. Oh, for everyone else who doesn't know yet, we were homeschooling like full on and planning to do it forever. until I got a prompting to put her in public school this year. And I thought I didn't want to do it, but we're doing it. So, and so we're trying to find the good in it and be a missionary. And that's kind of why I was prompted to put her in there. She's supposed to be a missionary. So anyway,
Yeah, but how amazing after 1 week you see the fulfillment of that one, the part that was so near and dear to your heart. You know, Heavenly Father loves us so much.
yeah. Yep. So I think that's all I had to share today, but it's good to be back and with all my friends and support group.
I know. It is awesome. I absolutely love it. Lindsay and I keep saying, okay, seriously, we have got to find a place. We have to find some location that's going to be free because we all have to get to it. You know, that's going to be hard enough. But where we can all come together and just have like a week of Mothers of Influence camp or something, you know, and hang out and have an amazing time together. That would be so great. We would love it. And it's really, really wonderful for me, to me, I think, to hear about women like Amanda who have been watching the videos. Like, you know, I don't love putting those videos out there. And yet at the same time, I know we need to, because people like Amanda can run across them and then watch and watch and watch and get out of it those warm feelings and that feeling of connection with people she's never met before. You know, I mean, not just never met, but never interacted with live. You know, and then how awesome, Amanda, to have you come and join us. I just love that. And other women have reached out and said, I can't come, but I still watch and I just love it. If you ever stop recording, please, you know, make sure you remember me and make sure you send me the recordings or whatever. So there's more women that are part of our group than we even know. And that's kind of cool. It'd be really fun. Like if you were visiting somewhere and someone ran up to you and were like, oh my gosh, I mean, you know, just like, you're my friend. I know you, I've talked with you, or I've listened to you and I've felt connected, right? You know, anyway, I think that's kind of cool. Melissa, did you come on screen to share?
Yeah. I had an interesting thought this week. I taught a class for a women's group at my local church on dehydrating and thermal cooking this week. And we only had like 7 ladies show up, but it was fine. It was still good. But I had all these recipes prepared. I had examples of casseroles and soups and all sorts of stuff for them to try. And I found it really interesting. The only thing they were super interested about was an apple pie filling that I made, and that they could dehydrate pumpkin puree and make pumpkin pie from it. And I was like, how often do you guys have pie? Like, I don't know, for me, pie is holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and maybe a couple other times a year, whereas soups and casseroles are like far more regular in my household. Maybe people have more pie than I think, but yeah, 3 or 4 of the women were like, I need this apple pie recipe. And I just got it out of a book. It wasn't like my secret recipe or anything. I was just showing them what they could do. And one lady was like, okay, so if I puree the pumpkin, I can make pumpkin pie with this. And I was like, well, yeah, just try it. So she put some on a spoon and rehydrated the pumpkin powder. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can make pumpkin pie. And I was like, why are they so excited about pie? And I think it's because that's when we connect, is when we have the holidays with these pies. I mean, I know families that get together and make like 30 pies. They didn't care about everyday stuff. They cared about when they are connecting with their families and their friends. And, you know, who cares if your casserole's bad? You want that pumpkin pie that everyone's going to sit around the table and talk about for, you know, while you're connecting, which you do over soup, you know, on a Tuesday night. And so yeah, at first I was like, why are they so obsessed about the pies? But then I realized that they just were excited to connect, and that
what it represents.
Yeah. And I found that really, really interesting and surprising. It wasn't something I was planning or thinking about, but
yeah, no, I think it's vital. That connection's vital. And it's crazy that there can be a thing that really is truly vital for our like health and well-being and happiness, but we haven't quite figured that out yet. Like we don't even know it's missing. So, and now we're starting to see other women in our lives as we're starting to be so warmed by these friendships. We're starting to see, oh, there's an absence there. Let me see if I can help bring you, bring you to this and help you feel that connection and fill that little space, I guess. I don't know. But I love that. I'm looking at Ida. Oh yeah, Ida, you watched a video. That's right. And that's how you came. That's been so helpful for our family to establish a routine of eating together as a family and making it special. Yeah, there are things like that that connect people that are important to keep those things going. Okay, other thoughts? We're getting close to our hour. And so we are going to, just as an FYI, we're going to wrap up our hour, but then we're going to stay on for just a minute. Not just a minute, that's a huge fat lie, but for just a little bit. And for anybody who wants to stay on, we're going to talk for a little bit about a little bit harder thing, but off of the recording. So for anybody that can and wants to do that, we'll do that. But we have 5 more minutes and we have no summary from Linnell, sadly. So unless somebody else wants to, to try that, we're welcome. You're welcome to do that. Lindsay, are you coming on camera or were you just moving? Bunting.
I was just moving. Didn't mean to do that.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're good. Emily, were you going to share? Oh, and Lindsay Cardone. What?
I had a question. So we talked about how we are connecting with other mothers, and my question was, because I'm curious how to implement better in my life my own study of the Mother's University. I've been doing the rotation along with my daughter, and it's been really fun. And so I wondered what everyone else was doing so that they could connect with their mothers of university, connect it to their lives and applying it, and how that was working in their life.
Great question. Anybody have any comments? Anything, any ways that they're starting to kind of try? Ask your question again, Emily, would you?
How are you connecting with the Mothers University topics and every day? Like, are you connecting every day with those? Are you studying every day? How are you making them a part of your life?
Okay, so that's a new topic every month. Do you spend any time on that topic? Do you, like, this month is the Mothers of Influence? Is that part of your studying during the month? Do you go to the topic for the month and look at that a little bit?
I've been trying to do that a little bit more. Like I did it last year a little bit. I have the books now, so that has made it a little bit easier. So like this month, I just have the Mothers of Influence book in my pile of things that I study, like my little basket, or I wish it was a basket. It's not that cute. It's just sitting here in a pile on the table. And so I was hoping this year I'm going to try to do that. And I started actually like getting up, trying to get up every morning at 6. So I'm awake an hour before the kids are supposed to get up. And I try to read a little bit out of here. And I read from the introductory course. Anyways, so that's how I ended up reading that story as well as Emily from the Mothers of Influence book. But I've also thought a lot about, like, it's layering, right? So I'm going to try to read some of this book and just keep going through it, but I probably won't finish it. And even if I do, that's okay. Like next year, the same time, I'm going to just pick up where I left off, or just try to, or start over, or whatever. And so I think I've really like given myself permission to not worry so much about doing things in a specific order, or like that I am prayerful about it, and I try to like be led by the Spirit and where I put my time in studying, and that I am layering, like I'm just building, and those things that were there before, they're still there. I'm just going to add onto them when I need to, kind of a thing. So that's been my approach. It's a little chaotic, but that's how it works for me.
Oh, great. Anybody else? So I put down here, I just read from a collection of books for the month, so I pull out the Mother's University, the Catch the Vision reference library, the big books, and just whatever else I pull down. And I'm working on doing more of the rotation, so pulling something from those topics out and doing that. And I'm only going to read snippets. I have very, very basic floor goals in my studying and reading, because if I overwhelm myself, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to keep going. So, and a little tiny bit, a little nugget that you can just think about all week long, from one little thing that you read, that can carry us for days and days and days. We can go a whole month on a little gem. And so don't feel like you have to get through the book. You're this concept of layering. Keep that in your head. I'm layering. Even like Rachel's conversation the other day about being out on their trip in Virginia and how they were trying to hit all these museums and places, and they were realizing they couldn't. They just couldn't do it. They wanted to do everything. But then if they did that, they would be shortchanging themselves, on these experiences, or running themselves ragged, being so exhausted and grumpy at the end of the day. And that's not worth it. So I am anxious to hear how if she kind of revised that. But she also mentioned that layering, maybe you just do a little bit this time, and next time you do a little bit more. I think that's wise.
Can I share something else?
Yeah, please.
It's sort of off topic, but not really.
I'm all about off topic, so we're good.
So I started this, I got the Christ study booklet from Well Educated Heart.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna work on this year and go through it. So I just started in the little summary, reading one of those a day or something, reading them. And I thought, it sounds silly, but I was like, I feel like maybe this isn't the right time. Like maybe I shouldn't read the summary. Maybe I should just skip to the next part. And I was like, no, I think I'll just read the summary first. And I read, because it talks about Christ's birth and everything. So it starts with that. And it starts out with Luke 1, 28, where like that little section in Luke where it talks about the angel coming and speaking to Mary, And I read that the other day, it was 3 days ago or something. I think I started on Monday, whatever day that was. Anyways, and I read those verses and I was so inspired by them. And you think about the scriptures, we're supposed to liken scriptures unto us, right? And I've read the Christmas story, and I've read all that many, many times, and I've just read it and been like, cool. Okay, read this before. And not really gotten it's not like I didn't think it was inspiring on some level, but I feel like it never I was able to just to dig a little deeper this time. And I was thinking about this verse, and it says the angel came into Mary and says, "Hail, thou that art highly favored, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women." And I was just struck by that, and I was like, I'm not Mary, but I'm highly favored. We are all highly favored, right? And I know that the Lord is with me. And I've been so blessed, right? And so I think Heavenly Father has blessed me so much, specifically just for me, because he knows me, right? And then Mary was troubled, right? She's like, what kind of greeting is this? And this just shows her humility, right? And how great of a person she was. And then she's like, how is this gonna happen? I don't even know a guy. And then the angel's like, I thought about that, her response, and I thought about how many times do we say that to Heavenly Father, when he tells us to do something, we're like, yeah, but this thing and this other thing, I have all these doors that they are closed right now, so I don't know how you expect me to get to this one place that I'm supposed to go to. And then the angel's like, for with God, nothing is impossible. And that's God's like, you can do this. And if it doesn't matter, anything is possible. And then I just love Mary's response. Okay, I'm the Lord's handmaiden. I will do whatever it is I'm supposed to do. Knowing all the things socially and in that time, how that would, people would look at her, right? And Joseph, like she didn't know the angel was going to go talk to Joseph and she was betrothed, and like that was a big deal. She could have been stoned, right? But she's like, all right. And I just was so touched by all of that and thinking about that and trying to liken that unto myself. And I was so grateful for like studying those verses. And like I just love it. It's like it's that principle of layering. Like sometimes you just following the spirit and you're studying and don't feel like you have to do a certain thing every single time. But just like I have this pile, and like Laura's saying, I just read a little teeny bit sometimes. Like it was only a few verses, but I was so inspiring to me. And it doesn't happen every single day, but sometimes I'm like, okay, that's just what I needed to hear today. That's what I needed to know. And like asking Heavenly Father to teach you, you know, when you're trying to study every morning. And it can come from the scriptures. It can come from other places as well, right? So anyways, that was just the thought I had.
I'm so happy you shared that. Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Really beautiful. How great. I mean, just that conversation. You know, I can go a week off of that conversation, just your comments, Ida. You're welcome. This was lovely, as always. Always so good to be together and to connect and to share things that are important and near and dear to us and just strengthen this friendship. And we loved having you, Amanda, and you, Kimmy, with us. I hope you were comfortable. I hope you want to come back. You're welcome to do that. And then, like I said, anybody who wants to stay can stay. But we'll go ahead and wrap up for our week. And we will, Michael is teaching me how to edit because he leaves October 6th at 6:30 in the morning. He'll be leaving. And any of you who are on Utah, well, you can welcome my son because he'll be there. Anyway, so I'm trying to get that all, I'm trying to learn. So be patient with me, but we'll get the recordings up there soon. And then we will officially see you again next Friday. Thanks for being here.